The 1961 Plymouth Fury mattered because it arrived right when Detroit started pulling back from pure excess, and Plymouth answered with something tighter, cleaner, and more controlled. Engineering and image all changed direction at once. The Golden Commando 361 gave that shift real force. This is Scholar of the Roads on Two Guys and a Ride. This is where the story starts. The 1961 Plymouth Fury history still matters because Plymouth proved it could rethink its look without losing presence. It also matters because real engineering updates made the car feel more modern in daily life. And people still remember it because the Fury could feel roomy, restrained, and strong all at the same time. But 1961, the big American sedan still had to look important from half a block away. You still expected size, comfort, and sense of status before the engine even fired. Yet the era was changing fast. The towering fin drama of the late 50s was starting to cool, and every major brand had decided how much of the old visual theater it would keep. Plymouth felt that pressure as clearly as anyone. In 1961, Plymouth leaned hard into spectacle. You can see the change the moment you compare the 1961 to what came before it. In 1960, Plymouth leaned hard into spectacle. In 1961, it backed away from the tallest excess and replaced it with a cleaner rear deck, a sharper side treatment, and a nose that still looked pointed and unmistakable. Here's why it mattered in the moment. Plymouth did not give up identity, it refined it, and that gave the Fury a different kind of confidence. That choice tells you a lot about the early 1960s. Buyers still wanted wide cabins, big car comfort, and the feeling that their family sedan had presence. They also wanted a car that looked like it belonged in the next chapter, not the last one. The Fury answered with a 118-inch wheelbase, a broad stance, and a body that looked lower and more disciplined than that of the car it replaced. That shift gave Plymouth a sharper voice in a crowded field. Now, the story gets even stronger when you look past the sheet metal. For 1961, Plymouth moved to an alternator instead of a generator, and that meant better charging at idle with less maintenance burden over time. That sounds like a small detail until you place it back in the real world of early 1960s ownership. Better charging, improved breaker point life, and fuel system updates all shaped how the car felt to live with. In real life, that showed up as a full-size car that seemed more modern before you even asked for speed. Then you get the engine lineup. This is where the Fury showed real range. You could choose the 225/6, move into the 318 V8, or step up to the Super Fury V800, or reach for the 361 Golden Commando and the 383 Sonoramic Commando. That spread mattered because it let one nameplate speak to very different drivers without losing its identity. The Fury was not trying to be an economy special, and it was not pretending to be a stripped competition machine. It gave buyers a broad, full-size answer to one question: how much power do you want under your hood? The road manners backed up the promise also. Period testing praised the torsion-bar front suspension, the rear-wheel bite on rough grades, and the stable feel at speed. Reviewers also noted that this was no road racing machine, and that point matters more than it hurts. The Fury did not need sport car reflexes to make its case. It needed composure, planted control, and the kind of confidence you felt while carrying 6 people with a huge trunk down a long American road. Inside, the Fury told the same story in a quieter way. The high-back driver's seat aimed to reduce fatigue. The front bench stayed wide and generous. Some testers praised the comfort and visibility. Others criticized the speedometer housing and seat back padding on long drives. That tension helps the car feel real today. The 1961 Plymouth Fury interior was ambitious, stylish, and open to debate. The rivals helped me explain why Plymouth had to get this one right. Chevrolet had the Impala with its broad appeal and huge reach. Ford pushed the cleaner, more conservative image of the Galaxie, and Pontiac gave the Catalina more performance flavor and status. So, where did that leave Plymouth in 1961? It left Plymouth fighting for a clear identity, and the Fury answered with pointed design, torsion bar engineering, and an engine lineup that stretched from practical to potent. This is where the Golden Commando 361 earns its place in memory. On paper, 305 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque gave the Fury real credibility. In feeling, it gave the car attitude. The Golden Commando did more than move a full-size Plymouth with authority. It turned the Fury into a signal car, one that told you Plymouth still understood desire, not only duty. That choice left a mark, and you still hear it in the way people talk about the strongest 1961 Plymouth Fury engine options today. By this point, the Fury starts to make sense as more than a single model year. It became a marker for how Chrysler styling settled after the late 1950s peak, how engineering upgrades quietly improved everyday use, and how a full-size sedan could still project confidence without leaning on towering tail fins. That is also why collector attention tends to follow the stronger V8 cars, the convertibles, and the best preserved examples. The appeal came after the significance. First, the car had to matter. Then, people decided it was worth chasing. What the 1961 Plymouth Fury came to represent was balance at a moment when balance was hard to find. It carried early 1960s American optimism, though it wore that optimism with more discipline than many cars around it. It gave you room, style, engineering progress, and real performance choices while showing Plymouth could adapt without fading into the background. That's why people still talk about it today. Not because it was the loudest car in the room, because it marked the moment when loud started giving way to lasting. This has been Scholar of the Roads, where history meets horsepower and every mile tells a story. Please give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.